Hello everyone, myself Assistant Professor Vatsaldi Patel from Civil Engineering Department working at Mahatma Gandhi Institute of Technical Education and Research Center NAVSARI. Today we are going to discuss about technical writing and our today's topic is technical description. So first of all, be ready with your pen and paper because this question is asked every time in GTU for 7 marks. So this will help you to get 7 marks easily. So be ready with your pen and paper. Okay. So let us start with technical description. So technical description is a key part of any descriptive technical document because it defines objects and processes. A technical description divides a complex item or topic into more manageable components. It defines, describes, and illustrates the various elements contained within the whole, whether an object, process, or concept. So, if we talk about this, technical piece of writing is a document presented in a well organized manner, always meant for specific readers who possesses some common knowledge of the field into the description, or we can say discussion. So this is mainly included in technical description. So technical description focuses on specific object, the process, or the operation of an object. Technical description helps the readers in understanding the particular object or process. Technical description generally breaks down the large mass of data in parts or defined categories presented in a logical way. For example, to describe the object called mobile phone, we need to categorize various internal and external parts that constitute the system and then explain their functions step by step. This will make the readers understand how a particular object called mobile phone works, what its parts are and what should be done if it stops working or lower down the performance. So this is the general overview of technical description. Okay. Next, steps for writing technical description. So these steps are included for writing technical description. First one is naming, then definition, which assigning meaning to the object, then description, which highlighting the certain aspects of the object, and lastly the illustration, description using graphic elements rather than words. So let us understand this. So if we talk about naming, so for any technical description, we should know how to describe the object. There are mainly three components, okay? Description, definition, discussion, and illustration. So using these three components, we can describe the object or process very effectively. Like we have talked about mobile phone. So like that, any technical things, okay? We have to name first. So what we are explaining, okay? So this comes under the naming. Then second one is definition. So the technical description begins with a definition. Definition provides the basic information about the term. There are two types of definitions, formal and extended. Formal definition explains the word or term in a limited way. It is always short and contains only basic information. The definitions we normally find in dictionary are one kind of formal definition. Extended definition explains the term in detail. This definition may be of 10 or 15 lines. So while drafting definition, one should keep two things in mind. Definition cannot use the term it, and definition should be very simple. Okay. So this comes under the definition. Sorry. Next is description, or we can say discussion. Okay. So the second step of technical description is the discussion. In discussion, the term or the object is described in detail. There are mainly two methods to describe the object in discussion part. like classification, in which we classify the object or process in several parts and we explain sorry, and we explain those parts one by one. It means that we do not explain the object or term as a whole. The second method is comparison and contrast. In this method, in order to explain the object, we compare the object with another object. For example, if we describe arch dam, we compare the arch dam with gravity or other kinds of dams, and this is how we can provide a better description. Okay. And lastly, illustration. So the third step is illustration. Illustration is very important to explain the object or process. In illustration, we can use drawings, pictures and graph, etc., which simplify the difficult and complex things. For example, with the help of drawing of an arch dam, we grasp the concept of arch dam very effectively. Okay. So these are the steps which are involved in the writing the technical description. So you should keep in mind while writing the description of any technical product. Okay. So let us understand it with one example. Okay. So as an example, we are taking computer mouse. So you can write it anything like GTU has asked sometimes particular specific object. Mainly this time they have asked for the mobile phone. Okay, latest mobile phone. So like this, if they say anything, so you can use computer mouse. So it is reliable for all the stream. So I have taken computer mouse as an example. Okay, so you can write easily. So if GTU gives particular object, then you have to classify it like that. If they give write down any ones, then you can use this example. Okay. So let us understand and be ready with pen and paper. You have to write it down. Okay. So let us see. So a mouse is an external computer hardware device that allows a user to control the motion of a computer cursor and select objects on the screen by moving and clicking the device. The mouse works on the basic principle that the movement of the device is translated into the movement of the cursor on the screen. So everyone know about the mouse. So you can see its image here. Okay. So now we move toward the technical description. So we have already talked, we have to describe it in parts. So there are mainly 9 parts we are going to discuss. Okay. So first one is top casing, then right click cover, then left click cover, then scroll wheel, then bottom casing, then trackball, then internal circuit board, then connecting wire, or we can say code, or lastly plug. So in GTU this question is asked for 7 marks. So this should be in detail. Okay. So now we will see all the parts in detail. Okay. So first of all is top casing. So you can see its image here. Okay. So here top casing is removed and internal part can be seen. So this is the top casing. Okay. So the top casing of a computer mouse is a hard curved sheet of plastic. It is designed to fit comfortably in the palm of the hand and that protects the inside part of the mouse. So like this you can write down from here. Okay. So you can stop the video and write it down in your paper. Okay. Next is right click cover. So right click will be here. Okay. The dark black part. Okay. So the right click cover is a small curved piece of plastic on the top front of a computer mouse. It can be depressed to transport a signal to a receiver on a circuit board inside the mouse. This receiver translates the mechanical action of clicking into instruction for the computer. Okay. So you can write it down from here. Okay. Next is left click cover. So in left direction you can see a darkened part here. Okay. So the left click cover is a small curved piece of plastic on the top front of a computer mouse. It can be depressed to transport a signal to a receiver on a circuit board inside the mouse. It is a mirror image of the right click cover and also translate the mechanical action of clicking into instruction for the computer. Left click cover works effectively because it is wide enough to be easily depressed by the user. Okay, so for this you can write it down from here. Okay, next is scroll wheel, so you can see scroll wheel here. Okay, so the scroll wheel is a small wheel overlaid with rubber, or we can say or a similar low friction material. It can be rubber or low friction material can be used. Okay, that is located between the right and left click covers, and it connects the internal circuit board through a system of tiny gears. The scroll wheels allow the user to navigate up and down in a user interface window. So I think all of you have mainly used the mouse, so you can know all the parameters. Okay, so like this we can write it down technical description. Okay, so we are understanding it. Okay, so you can write it down from here. Next is bottom casing. So firstly we have removed top casing. Now this is the bottom casing. Okay, so bottom casing you can see in the image. So the bottom casing is a hard shell of plastic or the underside of a computer mouse. It holds the mouse together and protects the inner parts. Okay, so this is the very simple concept. Okay. Next is tracking ball. So tracking ball is here. Okay, I think all of you are aware about this. Sometimes it is recent times the trackball is given here. Okay, for the easy movement, but mainly in a older time we use like the trackball is provided here. Okay, so let us see its function. So the trackball is a small rubber sphere on the underside of the mouse. It can roll in any direction as the mouse moves across a surface. The movement of the trackball is captured through a system of gears and translated to an electronic signal to control the motion of the pointer on the computer screen. Okay, so you can write it down here for all the information. Okay. Next is internal circuit board. So you can see internal circuit board here. Okay. So the internal circuit board is an electronic component made of a copper sheet which connects different kinds of electronic equipment. The internal circuit board is housed inside the protective covers of the mouse. It collects and translates information from the user like clicking, scrolling and movement, and send it to the computer through the code. Okay, so we can say code means wire. Okay, so you can write it down from here all the information. Next is connecting wire or cord. So you can see connecting wire or cord is here. Okay, so the cord is a bundle of connecting wire sealed in a plastic sheet. It sends information in electronic signals from the mouse to the computer. The cord is several feet long to allow it to reach to the port on the computer so that the user has a wide range of motion to move the mouse. Okay, so you can see its length is very long, so according to it we can effectively use it. Okay, so you can write it down from here all the elements. And lastly the plug. So plug is here, images you can see here. So the plug is a plastic and metal connecting piece at the end of cord with the branches. It allows it sorry it allows it to fit into a computer ports. The end of the plug is a rounded piece made of metal. So you can see metal piece here. Okay, so it can easily fit into the computer port. So both type of port is here. Okay, rounded and the latest one. Okay, so you can write it down from here. So if your GTU ask about this, so you these components I have seen image, I have showed you the image individually to understand. Okay, if GTU ask the particular question, you can see you can draw simply one image of mouse and that you can mention all the parts. Okay, or if you have time you can draw the also part is here, but best way is draw one image. Okay, and explain all the 9 parts. Okay, on that image, and then step by step write it down like this. So this is just the half done. Okay, we are going for the 7 marks. So let's see. So next we have to write operating principle. We have just talked about the parts. Okay, how individual parts are work, but whole system is a work, what will be the there, okay, what operating principle will be there if they all come together. So this is written in operating principle. So this is also important one, so be sure you write it down this also. So let us see. So the mouse works on the principle that the movement of the mouse translates directly into the movement of the cursor on the computer screen. The right and left buttons allow the user to select or move objects on the screen. To use a mouse, a user simply resets the palm of his or her hand on the countertop casing, while their index and middle fingers positions over front buttons. Okay, so you can write it down operating principle from here. So let's move on to the next part. So when the user moves the mouse to the right, the ball underneath captures the motion with its inner gears and translates it to an electronic signal on the simple circuit board. So you can see all the elements are combining here and working as a whole. Okay, so the board then sends the signal along a group of wires through the cord and into a port on the computer. A driver on the computer then translate the signal into the appropriate matching motion on the screen. So you can also write it down this. Okay, and lastly, thus pushing the mouse to the right will move cursor to the right on the screen. The user can use mouse buttons to interact with objects on the screen. Clicking the button depresses a receiver on the circuit board inside the mouse, which in turn sends a signal through the card to the computer. And the scroll wheel works similarly when the user turns the wheel with a finger. Gears capture the movement of it, and the wheel and the circuit board sends the signal to the computer, telling it to scroll in the interface window. So this is the operating principle. So first of all, we have seen what individual component means, okay, and then or as a whole system how they will work. Okay, so you can write it down like this. And lastly, the conclusion. So this is the main part of what your object is. Okay, so a mouse is a simple, easy to learn device for interacting with a computer. It translates actions of the user directly into movement and action on the computer interface. It requires some practice to learn the coordination of controlling the mouse, but once a person understands the concept of how the mouse works, it is easy to control. Okay, so this way you can write any technical description of any component or any process or any method, okay, like this. So if GTU asks in 7 marks, always it comes under 7 marks. Okay, so be sure you understand this properly. So I think so I have cleared all your doubts. So if any doubt is there, you can contact me. Okay, so here I end my session. Thank you all of you.